Alright, hello everyone who expressed interest in my removable tattoos. I've never done this before, so please bear with me as I try to craft in Design Space and also record. So I don't know how this is going to work, but please be kind. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in my printer with the right feed so that it can actually print on the glossy side instead of on the dull side like I did originally. I am here. I'm going to go to continue. I'm going to go ahead, send it to my printer. I do add the bleed on this because I want to make sure that it's not going to cut into his hair or his face. So with the bleed, it actually cuts the bleed out and leaves just like his perfect little face. I'm not biased because he's cute, but he's also mine. So, alright, it's gonna go ahead and print. While I wait for that to go, I'm gonna go ahead and prep my Cricut. So I actually have an Explore. I don't have a maker, and I set it on to custom. That's custom. There you go, custom. Your base materials come up, you're gonna browse, and then I just typed in tattoo and there's already a material set for that. I didn't adjust any of those settings, by the way. So I'm gonna go ahead and click done, and here's my page now. Here I'm moving my laptop away and everything else. Can you see it? Alright, as best as possible. Okay, so the packet comes with this clear sheet. You essentially need to stick it on. So it has this little adhesive part here. And honestly, I haven't tried it this way before. So what I was doing before was just completely peeling it and then trying to stick it on. And as you can imagine, that was not really working out. So I'm going to try and do it like this instead. Little parts. And as you can see, it's super, super sticky. So it's already really stuck. I'm going to try and peel, and you'll notice adhesive is going to get stuck as you peel off. I thought I had totally ruined my project, but thankfully I hadn't. I was able to peel off and still peel back on. So I'm gonna try and just roll it on here gently. I have some air bubbles, so I'm gonna keep retrying this again. I am not good at this, so please don't do what I'm doing. Try to find any way that works better for you. I'm gonna go. Yeah, so it didn't really help. As you can see, there's massive air bubbles. I'm gonna repeel and try to re-stick, and you're gonna see just like glue everywhere, but it still works. Trust me, this is basically what I ended up doing all the other 2 times. Go ahead and try to stick on here as best as I can. It's really bad. I'm gonna pull from the other edge now and just try to smooth it out. If anyone has any suggestions, if you've done this and you've found a much better way to do this, send them my way, because this sucks. This is my least favorite part of this whole thing, and probably what I would consider the hardest part of it. But again, if it doesn't impact the final product, then I'm not too concerned about it. Just kind of keep relifting it until you're able to get it as smooth as you can. Okay. Still not perfect, but it's gonna do for it now at least. I'm gonna go ahead and get my scraper on here to really try to scrape it out, which does help a lot, by the way, so maybe I should just start using this sooner. And then what I do is I'm gonna cut this excess, and this is the side I messed up on, so don't pretend this side is blank, because I printed on the wrong side to begin with. You don't want the excess on there, because it'll mess up when the page goes into the machine. So you want to cut off any excess that you have. It's a little difficult. Okay, the other thing is I had a really hard time with getting my machine to read my lines the first couple times, and then it started cutting in a weird place, and I was like, uh-oh, because that will mess up your project. So I learned that if you trace the whole register mark, so I'm gonna go all the way across. I've seen recommendations for people to trace just like the corners or certain areas. I found that just tracing the whole thing, and you don't have to be like spot on perfect, because I am not a color in the lines kind of person anyways, but just go through and trace it with a Sharpie. The fine point, I think if you do it too thick, you might mess up the alignment of it, because it'll read it as completely off. So just go on and Sharpie the whole thing. Again, what I've noticed that happens if you don't is that because the top sheet is so shiny, the glare ends up from the light that's reading the cut marks or the registration marks, the glare throws it off, and so you'll either get the error that says that it can't read the registration marks and to try again, or it'll start doing it and just cutting in the wrong places, because it'll read like a reflection of it, so it won't actually read the place where it is. I'm gonna come here, I'm almost done. Okay, I put it on my mat. I use the purple mat for everything because it's so old at this point that it's just worn and it's not as sticky as it was initially. You use the mat that works best for you on paper, essentially. And then make sure it's really well aligned to be where it needs to be. Because again, if you don't align it well, it'll read the marks, but if your page is not where it needs to be, it'll cut in different places, essentially. So that looks decent to me. So now we run it through our machine. I have it on tattoo paper, and I'm gonna actually change my, sorry, my adapter gets funky here. I'm gonna change my pressure to more instead of default, because I really wanted to cut through all the way. I found that default will cut, but it won't actually cut it all the way. So give me a second while I reconnect here. There we go, we are back. Tattoo paper and more. Okay, and now we are here. We can go ahead and insert, push our flashing button, and then go. So let's hope our read goes well. Also, you can see some of the ink from me cutting or like replacing the glue there. It has not impacted any of my tattoos. So just as a message. So as you can see the marks, it is reading them. If it starts scanning any one location more than once or twice, that's usually an indicator that it's having a hard time reading it. So the fact that it's only doing it once, almost on all of these, is a good sign that we should have a decent cut. Alright, so I did not do a time lapse, I just let it cut out. I always like to just peek to see if it cut through, and it did. Awesome. So you can see some of it did cut out of place. I think I misaligned my page a little bit, but it did do what it needed to do, so I'm going to go ahead. I like, actually, when it's a full through cut, I like to peel it as it's on the mat because it helps to make sure that it actually peels off easily. And then I take my little scraper and scrape my little guys off. Alright, so we're going to give it a shot, even though I accidentally printed on the wrong side. We're going to see if it works. In order to check it out, you're going to peel that clear sheet that we put on. And I realized the baby wipe works, so I'm going to go ahead and place it. And as you can see, that's the side that I accidentally printed on the first time. So let's see what happens, right? I'm going to go ahead and apply, push down. Instructions say to keep applying and pushing down until the page easily comes up. So I'll just keep pushing down, down, down. It looks fairly damp, so let's see how it comes up. So it looks like the edging is not quite done, so I'm going to go ahead and just push a little bit more on that side. And all you notice is that the ink on the flip side is kind of just coming off a little bit, which doesn't seem to be impacting the tattoo much. Again, if it's hard to peel, you just need to dampen it a little bit more. And ta-da! There you go. I peeled this part off before fully dampening it, which explains why that's missing. But yeah, you have your stick-on temporary tattoo. Hope this helps.